everyone, Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with the American Flyer Line's 210-85 steam engine. It is a 462 locomotive produced about 1960. This is part of the Thunderbolt steam set from that particular era. As you know, I've worked on all the freight cars, and I've also cleaned the track, and the transformer does run, which is a good thing. Now it's time to get to the engine. The engine, cosmetically, it looks very good, but the engine does not move whatsoever. It does receive power. It does have a headlight, and the E-unit is trying to work. I did the track test off camera where I can be able to look at it a little bit more closely and also look at the repair manual. This is a plastic boiler, so this is a later production, rather as the older American Flyers have the cast iron shells, just like the Lionel post-war steam locomotives like the 671, the 2056, the 726 Berkshire, and more. So we're going to dive into this thing. This is actually my first S-gauge steam locomotive I have ever looked at. So this is going to be definitely an experience for me as I'm going through this, and we're going to make sure this thing rides the rails once again. So I'm going to turn the engine over, and we're going to go over a few things, and I will be right back. All right, everyone, I've turned the engine upside down. We're going to get to the tender in a little bit. This is the auxiliary cable that runs from the engine to the tender. So we have to make sure that this is all good in check. On the bottom should be the drive's access plate. And all of these are flathead screws. Ooh. Definitely see some dirt on this thing. See a little bit of dirt, but there's a washer on there. Make sure the washer stays on there. This might be one piece. We'll also take off our rear truck. And always remember to keep your parts together so you can have an idea of how things are go together. See, here's the drawbar where the rear trucks hook in to attach to the tender. That needs to go together, and that will also get cleaned. And here on the inside is the little motor. Should be a little Pomar motor, and as you can see, the motor does turn, which is a good sign. The commutators you see here is in question. That does need to be cleaned up. We'll also get to that. And there's also a couple of screws here that hold together all the drive here. And these two screws hold in what's called the pilot trucks, which are your smaller wheels. Your smaller wheels take a really big amount of abuse. As you can see, these wheels are very, very dirty, as you see here. So these will all have to get cleaned up. So let me go ahead and study this a little bit more, and we will be able to really dive into this thing and see if we can get this thing to run. As far as the tender goes, I'm going to shift to the tender for just a second. Your conductive wheels, one on each side, these will need to be polished up, which I can do off camera with some very fine sandpaper. About like 400 is what you need. If you don't have that, then 220 is the next one, but I will clean these up off camera. But the tender's in really good shape cosmetically. So I will work on that off camera, and I will study this a little bit more, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone, the shell is off of 210-85, and you can see a lot of dirt in the drive, And as you can see, a lot around the drivers, a lot around the worm gear. I'll go ahead and start cleaning it up. Ooh. Oh yeah, this thing is nasty. Look at that. So now we just clean it up. We're going to go ahead and just clean all the mess around the drive. I know this thing has not been cleaned since the day it left the factory. Just a quick clean. And now we can look inside here. You can see that you have the main gear, and you also inside you have the worm gear, which is attached to the motor, just like it is with a Lionel post-war. The E unit I know is working because the power is getting received to the E unit and it is clicking. So maybe what we can do is sand these a little bit and brighten them up a little bit to improve the electrical conductivity. And then we'll be able to work our way towards the back. Now the engine still is kind of locked up, so I don't know if something is misaligned, but that's something we're getting ready to dive into to see what's getting ready to happen. So I'm going to do a little bit more research as we go along on one of these things, and we'll be right back. And then, of course, the pilot wheels are pretty simple. We'll be able to clean that up as well and get those looking good again. So anyway, I will do some work off camera for a little bit and do some more studying, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone. I've actually been able to take a little bit more of this apart. As you can see here, these little pressers right here are where your springs are and your brushes. This is what one of the springs looks like, and that has to go in with the little rivet piece down. And I brought the brushes out, and you can see they are square. They're not like round where the Lionel ones are. As you can see, this is the end that was pointed down. Same with this end. The brushes actually look pretty good. Yeah, the brushes actually look really, really good in this case. So what I've been able to do is take them out, and I'm going to start cleaning those. The springs look pretty good, so this is not going to take too long. And then we will be able to work on this part of the engine. Hopefully, with taking these screws out that connect the E unit to the outside of the motor, we'll be able to get to the armature and clean this up. I think the armature is just really, really gummed up. But we're working our way from the back to the front to see what else we can diagnose. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and then we will be able to go inside a little bit more. I've also cleaned up the pilot wheels, and also around the pilot, I'm going to also clean where the guides go, and we'll go from there. So I will do some more homework, and I'll be right back. All right, we've got 221085 down to the motor, and as you can see, the whole motor assembly has to come off, and this long screw is what holds it together, one on each side. And this just slides right out. As you can see, this is a little 3-pole motor. You have the worm shaft and also the commutator. The commutator is a little bit different here. It's a lot more room to work. So we're going to take some degrees and we're going to go ahead and clean him up while it is apart. And this engine has definitely been run. I'll go ahead and clean him up. Okay. And it is just like with anything else, clean it a couple of times to get all the carbon off. This really gets it good and clean. Let me check the gaps really quick. The gaps really don't look that bad. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Barely anything in the gaps. That's good. So now we turn our attention to the worm shaft. Let's go ahead and get it cleaned up. This actually looks pretty good. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Got it looking a little bit better. Get all nice and clean. And see, the armature sits in here like this. And it just pushes right in. So you have to find the happy place to get it back in where you can be able to see it turn. Now I've got it to turn right now, so when you just pull it out, you just pull it out carefully, not stripping the teeth on the gears and or the grooves on the shaft. I'm not ready to install that back, so what we're going to do now is we're going to clean the area here. This hasn't been cleaned. Just going to clean her up a little bit. Just get all the dirt and grease out of it if there is any. Let that dry really good. As you see here, the worm gear is at the bottom. And you also have the top gear, which allows the drive to spin. So, you're probably going to think now, what are you going to do to get the gear, to clean up? Well, you can use an eyedropper out of some smoke fluid, or what you could also do is just pour a little bit down in there, a little bit on the gears. It's not going to hurt it. Okay. Let it seep its way down in there. If you get a little bit on your mat, it's okay. Just blot it up. And then just what you do, just grab it and just turn your wheels. This will wash out any sort of grease that could be in there. And will also flush out any dirt that could be there as well. I have already oiled the wheels off camera. So that part was already done. Go ahead and get all the little pieces there out. There we go. Get some fur out. So far, we're looking okay. So that's all clean. So now we'll be able to throw some grease in it. I'll also throw in some oil, and we'll let all this dry for a couple of minutes. So anyway, that's what we have right now. I think the E-unit is okay, which I'm going to check here real quickly. The E-unit is a little bit different than your, let's say, your traditional Lionel E-unit. It trips within itself and does have a little bit of dirt in it, which will clean all this up too. We'll even clean up the brush plate, the inside of the block, and I'll clean the brushes and we'll be able to get this thing back together. There is some dirt in here. If you see some dirt in a very delicate place, you can take a Q-tip and just get it out a little bit. You can see I got a little bit of carbon out of there, which I'm going to go in there and clean everything real good anyway and inspect the coils and getting all this clean. Now, the coils in here, the green coils, as you see here, look really healthy. The motor coils look a little bit dirty, but they are intact, which is a good sign. Just enough to get a little bit of dirt out of it. And clean up. Yeah. So off camera, I'm going to clean out the E-unit a little bit and making sure that's in good shape. I'm going to throw some grease on the gears and try to start getting this engine back together where we can be able to test it. The gears look pretty good, which I'm very surprised at. It's probably just a lack of oil and grease. And I really think we'll be able to get this thing riding soon. And also remember, get the teeth of the gears. You can dab on a little bit of the degreaser with your Q-tip and just slowly get some old grease in there. There is some old grease in here. So I'm going to spend some time to clean up that gear a little bit and be able to make it look good again. So I'm going to be a little bit on that, then I'm going to start putting some things back together, and hopefully this engine will be ready to ride the rails once again. So anyway, that's all for right now, and I will be right back. All right, everyone, I was able to get the drives off camera, and I can show you that I have cleaned out where the worm gear is and cleaned out the drivers as well really good. But this is the grease in the base of the drive, and you can see it is tacky, but you can see it is really old grease. That's all going to get, it's all going to get cleaned out and scraped out. I have also cleaned out the drivers as well, cleaned out the axle grooves, and I've also put a few things in the back already put back together, but I'm getting ready to put the brushes in and getting at least most of the drive back together and be able to test it here in just a little bit. But this drive is definitely going to get cleaned out some because all this old grease is gummed up the drive. That is part of the problem, and I've already put the fresh grease in, which is good. So this is all you're going to get scraped out and cleaned out and will be able to be put back together. So I'm going to go ahead and start reassembling everything, and then I'll work on the tender off camera, and I'll be right back. Hi everyone, it's been some time later. I've not gotten the engine quite back together yet, but it does get power. Look at that. Well, that's a sign of success right there. It's running the other direction right now. I don't have the stoke unit hooked back up yet, but this is enough just to get it going a little bit. Look at it go. And that's only at 20% throttle. Wow. I'm surprised at that. I am very surprised at that. I don't know what it was in the beginning, so I'm guessing it was probably something that was just caught in it or just needed to be opened up and just realigned. But at least we have some power going in reverse a little bit. And I'll be able to do some fine tuning with this. We know the track clip is good, which I'm going to show y'all right quick. This is an American Flyer 960 track clip, and I have two wires running it from the clip to the back of the transformer. The base is obviously a ground, and the red is going to go to the track. So you have two wires that go to it, and this is actually good. This is actually real good. So I'll keep tuning this up, and we'll be able to finish putting it together, and we'll put the cars with it. Hi, everyone. It's been about 3 months since we last looked at 21085. After getting some help from somebody I know, the engine had a little bit more stuff to deal with. Inside of the engine is immaculate, but there was a little bit of a bind between the smoke unit and the alignment of the wheels that was preventing the engine from going forward. There was also a little bit of work that had to be done to the smoke unit according to my buddy, and there was also some wires that that needed to be resoldered. So that has all been fixed up, and it is finally ready to take the rails after probably about 30 years in storage. So let me go ahead and get some power to the track, and I will be right back. All right, everyone, 21085 is ready to hit the rails. I have a few cars I've had on the track for a while, but one day soon I'm going to be doing a full video of the entire set running together, probably for the first time in about 40 years. So let's go and give her some power. Oh, and she smokes too. Yeah, buddy. Woo! Oh, yeah. Yeah, buddy. Serenity. All right, everybody, the engine's been running for about 10 minutes. I've had to add some smoke fluid to the engine, and it's running really, really well. The light goes in and out a little bit, but I'm not really worried about that. But the bulk of the engine is running really well. And listen to that steam chuff on these little American Flyer steam engines. I've always loved them. Oh, yeah. She's smoking real good. About 2 to 3 drops on these things usually go a long way. So with that, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. And it's with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Happy model rarity, guys, and I will see you down the main.